You didn't notice it all at once. That's the part that should bother you. It slipped in quietly. A change in temperature. A shift in how the room behaves when you're in it. One day you realized they were no longer treating you like everyone else. And at the same time they were trying very hard to make it look like they were. Nothing obvious, nothing you could accuse, just small fractures. The way they stop a sentence halfway when you walk in. The way their attention lingers a second too long, then disappears like it never happened. You told yourself it was nothing, you always do. They position themselves carefully around you, not close, not far, exactly where it won't be questioned. You've seen them be careless with other people. With you, they're precise. They know things about you they shouldn't remember. They bring them up like accidents, like mistakes, like they don't matter. And you accept that lie. Because admitting what this is would change the shape of everything. At some point, you realize they started reacting to you instead of just being around you. Not in a visible way. Nothing that could be pointed at. But something in them began to adjust whenever you entered the room, like a silent system recalibrating. Conversations didn't stop. They just changed direction. Their posture shifted. Their attention did something subtle before it did anything obvious. You noticed it, and then you learned to pretend you didn't. They don't move toward you, they arrange themselves near you. There's a difference. It's calculated enough to be deniable. They always leave just enough space to keep the situation unnameable. You've seen them be impulsive with others. You've seen them step too close, speak too freely, touch too easily. Around you, everything is measured, like one wrong step would expose something they're trying to keep folded. They hear you before you speak. You can see it in the way their focus shifts a second too early. Sometimes they answer a question you haven't finished asking. Sometimes they react to a thought you only half said. And when they realize they've done it, they correct themselves. Not with words, with distance. You've noticed how they behave when you're worn down. When your energy drops, they lower their voice without realizing it. They stop interrupting. They stop filling silence. They start watching instead. Like they're waiting for something to break the surface. They never ask what's wrong. They just change the temperature of the conversation, as if your mood is something fragile that could crack if handled directly. With other people, they're effortless. You've seen it. They tell stories, they exaggerate, they laugh at their own jokes. Around you, they choose every word like it might be used against them later. When something honest almost escapes, they disguise it with humor and watch you instead of listening to your reply. Not to see if you liked it, to see if it landed too close. They don't react when you talk about people who matter to you. Not in any way that could be accused of jealousy. Their face stays neutral. Their tone stays even. But something in them goes quiet, like a light switching off in a room nobody is looking at. They're not competing with anyone you mention. They're competing with a version of you they can't reach. And they know it. There was a moment that should have been ordinary. A shared space, a shared pause, a chance for something simple and harmless. You both felt it open and close at the same time. Nothing happened, not because it was forbidden, because it would have made something undeniable. And once something has a name, it stops being safe. They always know when you arrive. They always know when you leave. They never ask, they never comment, they just adjust. If you're gone longer than usual, they don't bring it up. They just seem lighter when you're back, like attention finally found a place to rest. You've heard they speak about you when you're not there. You didn't hear it directly. It always comes from someone else, someone who thought you should know. When you mention it, they minimize it, shrug it off, make it sound ordinary. You can tell by the way they avoid your eyes that it wasn't. They collect moments involving you. Not the important ones, the useless ones. The kind people forget. A sentence you said months ago, a small habit, a preference you mentioned once. They bring these things up later like they just remembered, like they don't know why they stayed. You both know that's not how memory works. When something good happens to them, you're not the first person they tell. You're the person they wait for. They save it like a final version of the story. And when they finally say it, they're not looking for excitement. They're checking to see if you're still connected to them in the same invisible way. Sometimes they almost cross the line. You can hear it in the way their sentences slow down, in the way their voice changes shape halfway through a thought. Then they redirect. Choose a safer ending. Something reversible, something that doesn't require consequences. You let them, because you don't know what would happen if they didn't. They say your name differently. You've caught that too. Not louder, not softer, just with more weight. And sometimes they avoid saying it at all, like it carries something they don't want to release into the room. There was a time when you were just another person in their orbit. You remember it because it's gone. Now everything is arranged around not making this strange gravity obvious. You didn't have a conversation about it. There was no moment of change. It just shifted quietly. They don't flirt. They don't chase. They build a small invisible space and stand inside it with you, pretending it happened by accident. You tested it once, pulled back, changed the way you replied, let a little distance form. They felt it immediately, not with drama, with restraint. Like someone discovering a bruise they didn't know they had and being careful not to touch it again. There's a version of them that exists without you. Other people describe it, lighter, louder, less careful. With you, they're always holding something in place. You keep telling yourself you're imagining it, and yet, you never stop noticing. They've never crossed the line. That's what makes it survivable. They just live next to it. So do you. Nothing you felt here was random, and none of it was harmless. You've been living inside something that never asked for permission and pretending it didn't have a shape. If parts of this stayed with you, it's because they were there. You don't need to explain that to anyone. But if you want to leave a quiet trace, you can press like, or stay with this channel by subscribing. If there's a sentence that caught you, you can leave it in a comment. Not for me, for you. Some things only become real when you see them outside your head. Whatever this is, it won't stay suspended forever. It never does. And you know what happens when it finally moves.